Hi guys, it's Starlene Breiter here. I am a vibrational astrologer and an intuitive tarot reader. This is my weekly video on the upcoming astrological energies for the week ahead. This will be for the week of Monday, November 25th through Sunday, December 1st, 2019. I really can't believe it's almost December. It's unbelievable how quick this year has gone. So I'm going to give you a little summary of the video before I actually get into it. This is a really awesome week. So we have been like going through all these difficult things lately, and when Mercury was retrograde, if you guys have been following my videos, I was telling you make sure you journal the things that you're getting like inspiration about, because there's going to come a time when you're going to want to actually work on those things, because sometimes during Mercury retrograde it's better if we don't start new projects, and the reason being is because we might have to like go over them a few times to make it happen, and like spreading them around doesn't work quite as well under Mercury retrograde most of the time. So this week it's almost as if it's like a portal for us to actually start to actually do these things that we've been like journaling about or dreaming about or desiring. It's a great week for that. There's a lot of energy that is involving Jupiter and Pluto, which I'll get into, of course. And that really translates into manifestation. That translates into really thinking big and not like small, because, I think that's a lot of our problems is we think too small. We forget that we are endless beings that can actually create that which we are wanting. And when we focus our minds and our hearts on like, oh, I'm worried, I'm fearful, I'm stressed out, I'm this, I'm that, whatever negative ego stuff is, we are not allowing those positive energies to come in that actually give us some kind of desire to actually create that which we're seeking. So try to keep your mind in alignment with that which you want, because you will be in a phase and an energy pattern of manifestation, whether you like it or not. And make sure you're manifesting that which you really want as opposed to that which you don't. This is a really also good fortune time, so I think it's going to be easy for most of us to be able to actually do this. And I really think it's a time to create this life that we have been thinking about. If you're not living that life that you want to be living, it's time to actually start doing that for yourself. I think the problem is that like with this with this Saturn Pluto energy that's been going on, which I'll talk about, I've talked about it a lot, but it's a big thing that's going on right now. They're going to conjunct in January. And what happens is Saturn has this way of like stripping us down, getting us almost naked to the bone, to the things that aren't like really, really important to us. Those things fall away. That's Saturn. And if we hold on too tightly to them, then we are not allowing Saturn to do its work, and that's when the trouble comes in. And then there's Pluto, which Pluto it's connecting with, and each one of these planets, when they connect with Saturn, they will connect with Pluto shortly after, and I'll get into that a little bit more about that in regards to the other planets in a moment. But the Pluto energy is about rebirthing yourself. It's a drive. It is like in ancient astrology or in modern astrology, I've heard people talk about Pluto being the higher octave of Mars. Mars is the basis of our energy, and Pluto is like that really strong, almost obsessive compulsive drive. So here we are first being stripped down with Saturn, and then we're getting the opportunity to rebuild ourselves in some way, and that can be very powerful. When it's coupled with the Jupiter energy that's going on this week, it's like really positive, a really positive vibe towards making your life the way you want it to be. So it's kind of interesting how this is all unfolding. And like I said, if you've been following my videos, you definitely, hopefully will have done your work, and will definitely benefit from that if you have been doing your work. If you haven't been doing the daydreaming and journaling and figuring out what it is exactly that you want, it's not too late. Start doing it. Start making that happen for yourself, because this energy this week is giving us a chance to make those things happen. That's also coupled with the Sagittarius new moon, which is also very auspicious as well. So that's like a little synopsis of what's going on this week. I'll get into the the details here in a second. If you do like my channel, feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button. That gives you a notification when when I put a video up. I do them every week. Usually put them out Sunday nights or Monday morning, like this one is Monday morning. And if you like my video, feel free to like it and comment and let me know what you think. You can find my websites at rockstarastrologer.com. That is my consultation website. So if you're seeking a consultation and you want to know like how this is actually affecting you personally, then you might want to get a consultation with me. You can also find my online business card at starlenebreiter.com. That will allow you to see all my social media and so on and so forth. So feel free to check that out as well. I also will be sharing in this video the gemstone suggestions that I have to work with for this week, because I am a gemstone expert, and you can see the gemstones that I would suggest, you know, working with, and I'll tell you why you want to work with them. That's at the end of the video. So thank you guys for watching. Of course, I'm really grateful for everybody that's been following me on this journey, and I really do love sharing this content with you guys, so I appreciate that. So I want to tell you a couple quick things that are going on in my world that are affecting possibly you guys, that you might want to be interested in, you know, checking out yourself. First is the Vibrational Astrology Conference. It is going to be March 27th through 29th in Gainesville, Florida. I will be attending the conference. I'm not lecturing this time. The last conference I did lecture, but this time I'm going to be doing live mini readings. So if you would like to get an edge on what vibrational astrology is and understand it on a deeper level, that would be a great way to start. The pre-conference is going to be like a quick little, you know, workshop of what vibrational astrology is, and then the conference itself is like the new things that the researchers, which I am part of the researchers, have, you know, worked on and figured out how it's worked, and, you know, showing their presentations about that, you know, during the conference. So that's kind of what that's about. It's really cool, interesting way to look at astrology. And of course, you know, I love vibrational astrology. It is an evidence-based approach to astrology, so it makes it unique to different kinds of astrologies. That some of them, like classical astrology, is just information that's passed down through the ages, which is wonderful too. It's just a different way to look at it. So, you know, it's something that you might be interested in. If you're able to come to it, please feel free to check it out. The links to everything that I'm talking about too are in the description box, so feel free to just click on the links down there and make it really easy for you guys. So another thing that is cool that I'll be doing February 22nd, 2020, is a day-long workshop. It will be with the NCGR Florida Atlantic chapter, and what I'm doing it on is vibrational astrology. So if you are anywhere in South Florida, it will be at the Nova University in Davie, Florida. So feel free to check that out as well. I'll leave a link again in the description box below. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys about, something that's pretty cool. I've been collaborating with someone else, someone that does tarot. I also do tarot, but I thought this would be an interesting thing to share with you guys, because every day a friend of mine, his name is Tico, he actually uses the information that I give him about the astrology for that day, and he pulls a couple tarot cards in relation to how you might, you know, use this energy, or how you might you know, just a different perspective. So it's kind of cool. Check out his link to his YouTube. It is below. It's only a couple of minute video that he puts out every day, but it's really interesting. I've been enjoying watching them myself because I know the astrology and he knows that a little bit, but he's really into the tarot. So, you know, it's interesting that the cards that he pulls, you know, quote unquote randomly, because I don't think tarot is random, actually relate to astrology. So it's pretty interesting, and it's another layer to kind of put onto it. So feel free to check that out. It's in the description box as well. So all that said, I am going to jump in here, and I'm going to talk about the midpoints that are going on for this week. There's not a lot, but there are some really important ones that are going on. The first set of midpoints, this is Jupiter is at the midpoint of Sun Pluto. Remember I said Jupiter Pluto is going to be like, you know, a big thing today or this week? Yeah, it is. So this starts on Tuesday and goes to the following Monday. So it starts on the 26th and it goes to December 2nd. Okay. And what this particular midpoint is about, you really having a desire, a strong desire to reach success in your life, okay? Pluto is not necessarily the nicest planet, but it is a driven planet. And I don't mean it like a bad thing. When you couple it with certain other planets, it can be really lovely. It can be great. And in particular, the Sun and Jupiter, which it is, you know, in this midpoint with Jupiter and the Sun, it makes Pluto like shine. It makes it happen to be very positive. So in this sense, we are really wanting to be expansive with our thoughts and we want to like create some kind of wealth or abundance for ourselves. The peak of this is the 29th. So that's the peak date of this, but all through Tuesday through Monday next week, it's definitely in play. And this is an opportunity for us to establish a position that we want in our lives. So if you wanted to like, you know, really dig in and get, you know, get that, you know, good energy in going for your work or promote something, this would be a great time to do that. It's because like cosmically, we're all intertwined in this energy, right? This is the transiting planets after all. We're all connected to it. It will, of course, connect to each one of us differently depending on our own charts, but we're all connected to this energy. So, you know, like some people will be a little bit stronger than others, but this overall will be really great time to promote something, to do something that creates success and wealth in your life. So, you know, dig in and start making that happen for yourself. So the next couple of midpoints that I'm going to talk about, they begin this week, but then they end next week. So I'm going to talk about them because they're important. This first one had already happened. It happened during the full moon in Taurus, which that was November 12th through 14th, and the peak was on the 13th. So that was when it happened before. I talked about it then, and I talked that it would, you know, about it at that point, that it would also come back. It comes back. It starts on the 30th and it goes to the 3rd. So it goes till next week. So it's this Saturday till next Monday that it's happening. And the peak is on Tuesday, next Tuesday, not this Tuesday. So I'm talking about it now because it does start on Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday, this is in play as well. Now, if you think back to November 12th through 14th, you can think back and maybe there's a replay of this in some way or another. This has us really thinking deeply. You know, we are thinking about our ideals. We're thinking about what's important to us, what is meaningful, what is not like frivolous or superficial, something that means something to us. This can be somewhat pessimistic now. If you remember me talking about it before, I mentioned that it could be pessimistic or it could be very idealistic because it has Saturn in it. Saturn kind of, like I said earlier in this video, that Saturn sometimes makes us feel like, you know, we're letting go of things. And if we're holding too tightly to them, we feel that frustration. You know, if you don't hold too tightly to things and you let things, you know, happen and unfold as they're supposed to, and without like that desire for control, then you will actually see that you can create that what you want. You just have to put it in your mind like, I'm going to release and let go instead of hold too tight. And I'm going to allow to know that the universe is taking care of me. You know, kind of put yourself in that sense because it's really your choice. Do you want to be pessimistic here or do you want to be idealistic? You know, it's really your choice in this sense. And, you know, this is a powerful midpoint because it does have Saturn and Neptune in it. And this is all happening in our mind because it's Mercury as well. So this did happen, like I said, during the Taurus full moon. And, you know, the Taurus full moon, that was a very intense full moon. And now you may see some other things that were going on then replay for you, you know, and it may be that like you were thinking, you know, challenging thoughts back then. Now you're like, okay, I recognize this energy. I'm going to actually turn my thoughts into something that's meaningful and important to me, as opposed to holding on to things that maybe aren't really working for me. So the next midpoint is the Sun at Mercury Jupiter. This starts on Saturday and goes to the following Saturday. So it doesn't peak until next week, but you know, it's like I said, it's Saturday, Sunday, so I thought it was important to talk about. this is really cool. This is an intelligent energy. This is one where we have ideas flowing. You know, you might feel even talkative. This is a nice energy. The sun is shining its light on Mercury and Jupiter. And I always think about Mercury, it's our mind. Jupiter is, you know, our expansion, our awareness. And I always think about Mercury and Jupiter because they're like, Mercury is kind of like the grade school teacher and Jupiter's like the professor. So here we have the, you know, the light of the sun shining on, you know, the grade school teacher in our minds, you know, and the professor that's going to expand our minds, you know. So here we are with this energy that's kind of playful, fun. It's successful. You know, you may have and notice that you have success in your vocation during this time. I mean, this is over like the holiday of Thanksgiving for those of you that are in the US. I mean, I know it doesn't start until Saturday, so it's like right afterwards, but like this may be a time where you feel like you're really going to do good with your work. You're going to actually make things happen for yourself. You're going to be successful with things. And it's a great time, again, to promote yourself, to get yourself out there in the world. You know, if you're trying to do something with yourself, to move success in your life, this would be a great time to make that happen for you. So those are all the midpoints that I'm going to talk about for this week, except for I'll talk about a couple midpoints during the new moon energy, what I talk about for the new moon. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to Monday, the 25th. This is the Venus moves into Capricorn. This happens at 7:29 p.m. and this, of course, is Eastern time. And Venus will be in Capricorn until December 25th. Now, Venus was in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is known for being flamboyant, being kind of carefree, being kind of fun, you know, and so Venus, which is our love and our desire and connection with art and beauty, is like all fun and carefree and excited and, you know, not really giving too much energy to like any goals or any intensity, right? So now moving into Capricorn, Venus is under the spell of Capricorn, giving our, you know, thoughts about beauty and art and the things that we love are more goal-oriented. You may notice that you are wanting to create and find deeper love for yourself, love that's not necessarily so carefree, love that actually means something, love that actually is more solid, you know, because Capricorn energy is definitely, it's an earth energy, it's very solid, it's very realistic, you know, it's not like I'm attracted to whomever just because they're attractive or something like that. It's more like I'm attracted to this person because they can mean something to me in my life. They actually have goals or ideas that I have as well. And if you're in a relationship, you may notice something like, you know, you and your partner are more focused on your goals as a couple as opposed to, you know, when Venus was going through Sagittarius, you may have been feeling kind of like carefree and fun with each other. So maybe now it's time that your possessions, your things that you really are attracted to are things that you are focused more on as far as, you know, being solid and being realistic about them. So this is an interesting energy. I like Venus in Capricorn, even though I know Venus in Capricorn, you know, because Venus is about possessions and things that we own and, you know, things that we love, and Capricorn's that earthy energy that's kind of like, you know, I want to be in charge, I want to make things happen, you know, so it's they kind of work well together, if you will. So this will be a nice time period for us. The next thing to talk about is Tuesday the 26th. This is the day of the new moon in Sagittarius. Hooray! Oh, the new moon in Sagittarius is great. This does peak at 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. New moons are always good times for setting new intentions. This new moon in Sagittarius is really helpful because it helps us to look beyond what is normal in our lives and seek some deeper meaning. You know, Sagittarius is, like I said earlier, it's the energy of really like reaching outside. It's connected to Jupiter. It's looking really outside of the box, not being afraid to think up a different philosophy or connect to my spirituality. You know, this is an opportunity for us to embrace things that are different to us, something that is new and unique. So you might want to set some intentions on this day saying, what do I want to create new with myself? What would be fun, unique, and different than what I've done already? You know, and this goes along with the energy I was talking about with midpoints, in the fact that this is a good time to express ourselves and get ourselves out there. I think that this is also, you know, kind of like backing up what I said, as far as now we're getting the chance to say, okay, we're moving into the realm of creating something that we have been desiring for a while, you know, creating that life we've been desiring for a while. So there's two midpoints that are going on during the new moon. They're not particularly strong. They're almost a whole degree. So usually I talk about them like less than a degree, but I'm going to mention them because there is an emphasis on this. One of them I did already talk about. It is the Jupiter at Sun Pluto, which peaks on Friday. This is what I'm talking about now is on Tuesday. Tuesday. So the Jupiter at Sun Pluto energy, it is in play here, right? And this is, you know, like I said, it's the striving for power, for some kind of strength, for some kind of expansive wealth. So the new moon is really has an emphasis on this. So, you know, you might make some intentions for yourself during this new moon. I want to create this with my life. I want to create this, and it's maybe something that you're not already doing. I want to create a business with my life. I want to create a relationship in my life. I want to create this deeper connection to spirit in my life. You know, whatever it is that is going on in your own life, you have to look at the astrology from that sense, because we're all doing different things at different times in our lives. But this new moon in Sagittarius is saying, you know, what is it that you want to create with yourself, you know, during this time, during this next month, during this next 6 months even. So think about it from that perspective. You know, what is it you want to create for yourself? Because this energy of the new moon and then the two midpoints I'm talking about, I already mentioned the first one, is giving you a chance to like express that. And the other midpoint that's going on, the first one was Jupiter at Sun Pluto, and this one is Jupiter at Moon Pluto, because remember, new moons are when the moon and the sun are conjunct in the sky. So whatever is aspecting the sun during the new moon is also aspecting the moon during the new moon. And again, it is almost a minute, almost a degree away from each other from being exact. So it will exact that day on Tuesday, but it is there still. You know, the energy is still there, even though it's not super, super strong. The energy is still there, especially since it's the new moon day. So this really gives us a richness in our emotions. We will have great successes and we'll feel really lucky. So I think this is the perfect day. I mean, I've said it like 3 or 4 times already in this video, but I think this is the perfect day to really set some intentions. If you're one of those like people to do spell work or intention work, set those intentions, make a journal, light a candle, say a prayer, something that will get you to where you are like, this is what I want. This is what I'm creating. Get a vision in your mind and then make it happen, because you'll have the power to do that. I think the thing of it is we forget that we want something and we think about like the end result. Like, I want to be a successful business person. I'm just using this as an example, right? I want to be a successful business person. I'm going to do this, but I don't know exactly how it's going to play out for myself. I want to be successful at doing something. And the thing of it is that, you know, if you don't get this clear vision in your mind, you actually have a hard time knowing how to get there. You know, you may have the desire of like, I want to be this, you know, successful business person, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. Like, what does that mean then? I don't even know what I want to do for business. Well, you have to start to focus on that and figure that out. Okay, so for me, I want to be a successful business person. I want to create, you know, an astrology, you know, community connection with other people regarding astrology, sharing vibrational astrology, so on and so forth. You know, continuing doing consultations. You know, I want to make an emphasis on that and grow that, right? So that's my like little idea of what I might want to do. Yours, of course, is going to be different because not everybody is me, you know, or wants to do the same things as me, but yours is going to be different. But I kind of have a vision of what I want, and I'm going to just start to make that happen. If I didn't have the vision or the thought first, it'd be really hard to create that thing, you know? So you may be like, I want something, but I don't know what. Well, get clear on what you want. If you're not clear on what you want, it's time to meditate, take some time out, quiet yourself, and ask Spirit, talk to Spirit in your meditation. Say, you know, help me figure out what I want with my life. Help me figure out what would be my best course of action for myself. And that's what you set your intentions on, your best course of action, you know. And I think that this is a really fortunate time for us during Tuesday and that new moon for us to be able to set our intentions on creating what we really do want for ourselves that maybe even seem a little too big. Don't do that to yourself. Don't say it's too big, I can't do it. Don't say it's too much, I can't do it, because that's gonna, you know, make you fall right down. Remind yourself that you can create that which you really want. Oops. My calendar just fell. That's okay. So just remind yourself, and I guess this is the emphasis, right, on what I'm saying, that you can create that which you want. Just make it happen. So moving on to Wednesday, the 27th, we have Neptune coming out of retrograde. It's station direct. That happens at 7:33 a.m. So Neptune has been retrograde since June 21st. So Neptune's an outer planet. So outer planets, they retrograde for months at a time, like obviously from June till November, right? This one's been for several months. But so during the retrograde phase, it's not as intense as it is during the station direct, which is what it's going. What will happen on Wednesday is in Neptune station direct, or when Neptune is station retrograde, which happened June 21st. So Neptune is our highest ideals, it's our dreams, it's our dream state. So it's our time that we really want to think about how we want to manifest things in our lives. So this is a powerful time, and you know, it's a time that we will want to sit back to ourselves and say, what do I want to manifest on a subconscious level? What has been like festering in that subconscious level? And that's where I think meditation comes in really handy, because if you don't already have it in your conscious mind, then it's back there in the subconscious. You may want to meditate and ask for that to come forward, because I think we all have these dreams and ideals, but we don't necessarily express them, or we don't necessarily open them up to you know, our awareness, because they're just back there and they're just dreams, you know. So what Neptune station direct and what Neptune will be doing as far as it's going forward will be allowing you to express some of those things that you have had internally for the last several months since June, and you'll be able to express them externally. So, you know, Neptune retrograde has had us been thinking about things that are, you know, not necessarily very deep in our well, they are deep, but they're not necessarily in the forefront of our minds, but they're deep inside within us. It has us doing a lot of that dreaming sense inside of us. And now that Neptune is moving forward, we're getting a chance to actually create those things and do those things in our actual life. So this is a nice kind of energy, Neptune station direct. Now that said, like I was mentioning, Neptune does take a while to pick up speed, so give it a chance. It will be a couple weeks before Neptune actually moves a few degrees away and actually starts to pick up speed. So this Neptune station direct feeling will feel like that for a few days at least. So moving on to Thursday, November 28th, Mercury is making a trine to Uranus. Mercury is making a trine to Neptune, and that happens at 4:52 a.m. This is a romantic and idealistic and sweet kind of energy. This might be a great time to, you know, do something with your loved one. Either you do it Wednesday, you know, previous to this Thursday, or Thursday you might want to, you know, share some thoughts and ideas about what you're feeling emotionally to your friends, to your family, people care about. This is a very idealistic and loving time. It's super sweet. So this is a sweet time for you to actually express yourself and your ideals during this time. So this is a loving and, you know, wonderful energy here. This is coupled by another good energy that happens on Thursday. It's Venus trine Uranus at 1:26 p.m. is the peak time. And this is a spontaneous vibe. It's like something fun that feels carefree. You might consider doing something on a whim. You might just be like, oh, I'm going to go do this. This is fun for me. Or, you know, you might enjoy spending time with other people. You may even meet someone new. If you do meet someone new, don't put too much into that as far as longevity is concerned, because it may not last. It may. I mean, I'm not saying it would never for sure, but it may not last. It may just be a fun, spontaneous kind of, you know, meeting and that sort of thing. So, you know, if you do meet someone new, enjoy, but don't necessarily put all of your eggs in one basket, you know, and all of that thing. So that is Thursday. Moving on to Friday, the 29th. So there's no exact aspects, but what I'm going to talk about is that the moon makes a cazimi, which means a cazimi conjunction means that the moon or whatever planet is actually not just conjunct the other planet, it's actually in the same latitude. So it'd be kind of hard to explain the astronomy part of it, but just for, you know, simplistic ideas of what a cazimi is and why it's special is like, say that Saturn is the other planet in this particular, you know, thing that I'm talking about. So the moon is a cazimi Saturn. So here's Saturn in the sky. The moon could be like at a different latitude, meaning like it's more here or more here. But what is a cazimi is means it's within 17 degrees or 17 minutes of the center of the other planet. So it's really actually eclipsing the other planet. If we were on the right side of the Earth, wherever this is showing, I don't know, but if we were on the right side of the Earth and we had a powerful telescope, we could probably see the traveling of the moon move over Saturn. So that happens at 4:17 p.m. A cazimi moon and moon in Capricorn conjunct Saturn, really, it's kind of like cutting away of those emotions. Remember I told you about how Saturn is definitely us letting go of things? This is our emotions. So the moon is our emotions. So it's like, it's an opportunity for us to let go of emotions that aren't serving us. Let them go. They're not important. If they're not important, they're not meaningful, they're not something you're going to bring to the next part of your life, let it go. Move forward. That's it. And then what happens later in the day at 10:57 p.m. is the moon does the same thing with Pluto. So Pluto's out here, and the moon has the same latitude as Pluto and actually crosses across Pluto in a conjunction. It's cazimi conjunction. And what that means is that it's piggybacking on the cazimi for the Saturn moon conjunction, but it's giving us an opportunity to rebuild ourselves emotionally, to give ourselves a chance to dig deeper inside of ourselves and to really rebirth our emotional state. So if you've had some, you know, difficulty early in the day on Friday, difficulty as far as like, you know, you're just not feeling, you know, like you're wanting to let go of things, do let them go. Do let go of emotions that are not helping you, those emotional baggage stuff. Let it go. It's not serving you. And then, you know, later on in that evening when the moon gets to that cazimi conjunction with Pluto, you'll be able to say, okay, this is a chance for me to rebuild something, to kind of dig deep and say, okay, this is what's more important to me, and this is where my new chapter of my life is going to come. So now this happens, this moon conjunct Saturn and Pluto happens once a month, so it's not something that's you know, rare, so to speak, but the cazimi part of it is pretty, you know, is pretty powerful. That's why I wanted to talk about these moon aspects on Friday. Even though I normally don't talk about moon aspects, I thought they were important to talk about. So moving on to Saturday the 30th, we have Mercury making a sextile to Saturn. That happens at 1:12 a.m. Eastern time, and this is time for good judgment. This is a time of planning things. Your mind may be somewhat serious, but you're also wanting to get things accomplished at the same time. So your mind may be focused on things that are important, and you want to do work that is good, and you might want to use this energy to get some things accomplished that you want to happen for yourself. You'll have the idea of doing things that are realistic. Your mind won't be like out in the space where you're like, oh, this sounds like such a good idea, but it really doesn't manifest. Whatever you're working on during this time will manifest, and you'll have the power and the energy of this vibration behind you to help those things manifest. So Saturday is actually a good work day, even though I know it's Saturday and the Saturday after the holidays, at least in the Thanksgiving holiday, at least in the United States. It's just a good time to get some work done if you can do that. So that's Saturday. Sunday, there are no exact aspects to talk about, so that's Sunday for you. And that wraps up the astrology for the week. So I welcome you to join me next week. I will talk about many different things next week. I will be sharing other ideas next week. And the last thing before I wanted to wrap this up is I wanted to talk about the gemstone suggestions for the week. The first gemstone suggestions, I have two, is labradorite. Now I have two examples of labradorite here. Labradorite is wonderful because it helps to transform energy. Here is a heart, and it's a dark kind of labradorite. It's hard to see on the camera, but if you look closely, and you may not be able to see on the camera, okay, so maybe right there. See, there's like, inside, it looks like there's a flash of blue energy. So I know with the lights, it's kind of hard. But so the reason I love this stone is because it is connected to Sagittarius. It also is a very transformational energy. It's one that raises our consciousness, helps us to ground our spiritual energies as well, and it helps to promote any kind of psychic or intuitive energy that you need. I think this is great for the new moon in Sagittarius, not just because it's connected to Sagittarius, because there's such a powerful manifestation energy that's going along with this new moon. Here's another example of it. This is actually a wand, and it's a really light colored labradorite. It does have those flashes inside of it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's definitely a different type of same kind of stone, but it's a different kind of like color of labradorite. I just wanted to show you different examples of labradorite. You don't need a wand, you don't need a heart, you can get a small piece, but I think it would be great to work with this. And how you can work with this is you can meditate with it in your hand. You can put it, if you're laying down, on your third eye chakra, and you can keep it in your pocket with you or keep it around you, especially during the new moon, because I think this would be really helpful. If you're going to do some new moon magic or spiritual work, I think that labradorite would be a wonderful stone for you to do that with. Okay, the second stone is for like the whole week, and I have several small little pieces of it. This is charoite. Okay, as you can see, it's like purple with these like black dots in it, right? So charoite only comes from one place in the world. It comes from Siberia, and charoite is found near a river called the Chari River. And Chari in Russian actually translates into magic or charms. So since this is such a magical week for us, an opportunity for us for growth and for manifestation, it's another piece of charoite. It doesn't have the black spots as much as the other piece did, but it's definitely a piece of charoite. So the thing about charoite is that it does have these, visually, you can see these black spots and often white streaks around it. And you don't usually find very big pieces of charoite because it's kind of more rare, since it's only found in one place in the world. It's not as popular or common. It's not super expensive though. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. So charoite, it helps us with a couple things. First of all, it helps us with this magical energy that I've been talking about, this ability to let go of things that we are hanging on to that are not important. This does connect with the Capricorn energy that I've also been talking about, with Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. It does also help us with healing our heart chakra. It synthesizes the energy between the crown chakra and the heart chakra. So it helps to align all of the upper chakras, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. It synthesizes this energy right here. So this would be a great stone to help you work with, also with manifestation, and also with you know, helping to align your chakras. This also is a great stone to help with ill health. If you're feeling negatively or you're feeling like you're not in good health, this can help you to ease fears that you might have around ill health. And it also helps with alienation if you feel lonely or alienated. That's why the Capricorn energy, I thought this would be good for that, because sometimes Capricorn can alienate themselves. They can kind of isolate themselves, and this is helpful for keeping you from doing that. It opens you up so that you're ready to express yourself to the world. So this is a beautiful stone to work with. I do love charorite. You might get a little piece of it and like keep it near you, or even work with it during the new moon, or if you just want to have it for yourself during this week, because I think it'll be powerful this week and next week. I'll probably talk about it again next week. So that is it for my week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a long video, but I really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody.